Good morning there. So today you decide that you want to be a Lyft driver. Well, first thing you have to do, and the most important thing that you need to do, is to understand what Lyft is and what's their purpose. And what's your part and how you benefit financially. So let's get right to it. Okay. So Lyft is a computer algorithm that was created by maybe some high-level IT people, all right. I'm pretty sure Uber is the same thing. They're all computer algorithms. They were created by IT people of some type. Somebody somewhere with some IT experience, computer IT experience somewhere designed these computer algorithms, Lyft and Uber. So Lyft is a computer algorithm. Okay. Now, when that computer algorithm was being created, they needed to find a way to make the computer algorithm work. Okay. So through studies, they realized that, society, a lot of people in society don't have vehicles, right? And they relied on taxi cab companies, the city transit, the bus systems, the train systems, if you have trains in your area and things of that nature, to commute back and forth to work, okay? And, those don't come cheap. That's the cost of not having a vehicle, okay? Everybody doesn't drive. Everybody doesn't own a vehicle or have access to a vehicle. So in that sense, people are going to use taxi service, the transit systems, the buses, the trains, and things of that nature. Those can get very expensive. All right, so when this computer algorithm was created, it needed a way to pop. So what better way for them to make this computer algorithm pop than to come up with a plan to offer riders cheaper fares. Okay, and what I mean by that is you have people that were using the taxi service and local transit in their areas and things of that nature to get back and forth to work. Also, private Rideshare companies, that charge by the week. People were spending hundreds of dollars on a weekly basis to get to and from work. And that can really cut into someone's earning potential, the money that they make on a job. And, it can affect the person's bills, and way of living, So they knew that by offering cheaper fares, they could kill two birds with one stone. What I mean by that is, when they came up with this idea to offer riders cheaper fares, they went to the extreme. And what they did was they offered riders cheaper fares. I mean, like maybe 3 times cheaper fares than what they would pay a taxi cab service to and from work, what they would pay the local transit to and from work on a weekly basis, what they would pay the train system to and from work on a weekly basis. Okay, so they needed to make that algorithm pop by offering riders cheaper fares. Okay, you have people that's spending hundreds of dollars on a weekly basis to get to and from work. So it's basically almost seems like they're working for nothing. But once again, that's the price of not having a vehicle, okay, or access to a vehicle. Okay, so so when so what they did was that enticed a great demand of people that were interested in riding with Lyft on their platform. Okay, so with those cheaper fares that they offered, they enticed a great deal of demand in every state that they were able to operate in the beginning. Okay, in those states, with that demand, with that interest in those cheaper fares by the riders, they killed the taxi cab service. I mean, they affected the local transit, the bus systems, and the trains, because an influx of riders wanted to ride on the Lyft platform. Okay, get those cheaper fares. Because if you have someone that's spending $200 a week to get to work, and now with this company coming in that's offering them 3 times cheaper fares, and he see, hey, well, I can spend probably $80 a week to get to and from work. Hey, I'm going to go with these people over here. I'm going to go with Lyft. All right? So once they got that demand to jumping in the system in the states that they were able to operate in the beginning, they killed the taxi cab service completely. Okay? Because, see, taxi cabs were charging the right amount of money. Because, see, a taxi cab would charge you from the point that they have to come and pick you up from, where they have to come from to pick you up. And then from that point that they pick you up to that point that they drop you off. So cabs received 2 side fares, which was actually the correct pricing process. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is free out here. Nothing. Okay? So, but to a worker that doesn't drive and doesn't have access to a vehicle, that is ridiculous. That's steep. Because their money is actually being paid to the transit system. But how are you going to get to work? How else are you going to get to work? How else are you going to get to any of the places that you need to go? You don't have a vehicle. So, once again, that's the price of not having a vehicle. No, you have to pay to play. Okay? So, back to this Lyft algorithm that was created. Okay? So, with the demand, with the offering the riders the cheaper fares, it enticed a great demand of interested riders. Okay? Now, with that looming high demand in interested riders for those cheaper fares, they were able to create a campaign to entice drivers with their own vehicles, okay, to come be a part of the platform, because they needed to service that high demand that they created with those cheaper fares, with those riders all in all the states that they offered Lyft in at the beginning. So they needed to create a campaign and entice drivers, which, they say, hey, if you live in Milwaukee and you want to work part-time, or you want to come work with Lyft, hey, you can make $40 an hour. Come drive with Lyft. hey, if you live in Wisconsin and you don't have a job, and or you want to work part-time, you can be your own boss. You can set your own hours. Come make $35 an hour and drive with Lyft on our platform. And that became enticing, but misleading. But everybody was so caught up in the new boom, right? That had taken the world by storm. Basically, a business model that went viral, right? And they went viral by getting a high demand of interested riders in those cheaper fares. So then here you go, an influx of drivers with their own vehicles, right? It's a brilliant business model, I tell you. Jumped aboard. They want to make $35 and $40 an hour. Now, Lyft had money to create this algorithm. They had startup costs and everything. They probably had a few millions of dollars. Now, they needed to pay these drivers handsomely in the beginning so that they would stay and they would record videos and they would talk about how many thousands of dollars that they're making on a weekly basis. Oh, they're so glad that they quit their jobs. And, some of them say, hey, I was working in corporate America and I left corporate America to drive on the Lyft platform. And oh boy, I'm making $4,000 a week or $5,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. You know what I mean? Okay, now this was in the beginning. And you get what I'm saying? Okay. So also as a driver, when you sign up, they give you a link, right? We're going to get back to that link in a minute. Okay. So with all that, with the demand in the riders, then they creating with the demand in the riders for the cheaper fares, and with the campaign to entice the drivers to come along with the promises of making far greater amounts of money than you make on your job, okay, on a regular job, which is going to have, which on a regular job you're going to have workman compensation, sick leave, paid time, PTO, right? You're going to have all kinds of things, health insurance and things like that to cover you on a regular job, okay? If it's a job with benefits, okay? Even if it isn't a job with benefits, they still have to give you workman compensation and they still have to have some type of liability on you as a worker in their company. Well, with this business model, when it was created, they started, the corporate structure was to be manipulated. Now, so you got the demand and the interested riders with the cheaper fares. You have the great demand in drivers that wanted to come aboard and be a part of this platform and make $25, $30, $40 an hour or whatever they're offering you in your area. So, wow, here this boomed and took the world by storm. You got a bunch of riders that's saving money 75% of the time. Then you got drivers that's out here driving 10 to 12 hours a day. Oh boy, and they're making somewhere around about $2,700 and $2,800 a week. And they're feeling so great. Some of them are making roughly $20, $25 an hour. This is in the beginning now. Okay, so everyone the boom has taken off. The boom has taken off. So now you got another company that comes along as well, or was in development as well, and took the same process. Boom, that takes off. So you got Lyft, You got Uber. They're both the same types of companies. Okay? So now, the money to run the company is becoming challenging, right? Because they have to pay the drivers to keep them interested. They have to offer the cheaper fares to the riders 75% of the time. So with their own money, they're not balancing pretty good. So lo and behold, they reach a plateau where they can go public. This means they can join the stock market. Payday comes. Oh, this means that an influx of investment companies, people with wealthy portfolios, some of your favorite actors, athletes, musicians, and people of all walks of life that's financially stable and wealthy wanted a piece of this boom. So they all started buying stocks. But the major companies, J.B. Chase Morgan, Ruckelton, and a great deal of others, bought the great deal of the higher demand of stock in the company. Okay? So these companies, Lyft probably only owns a small percentage of their own company, probably 8 to 10%, but that's still worth millions of dollars every year to them. Okay, so this is that model that was created. Okay, now, where do you play a part in? Financially. Okay? Because we already know that the riders get the cheaper fares 75% of the time. We already know that campaigns was created to bring the drivers along and offer them $30 and $40 an hour, $28 an hour in the area to drive on the Lyft platform with their own vehicle. Right? All right? We all know that a bunch of drivers jumped in on board, not realizing that the maintenance of their vehicle is included in that money. The price of gas is included in that money, which you're going to spend a great deal of gas on a daily basis, because gas prices fluctuate in every state on the globe, on the map, wherever Lyft is able to platform. I mean, wherever the Lyft platform is able to operate, gas prices are different. Yeah, I know they say, hey man, come on and use the gas apps and this, that, and the third. I'm gonna stay mute on that. If you choose to use those gas apps, by all means, do it. Let's see how much it saved you, because it didn't do a damn thing for me, and I used 3 of them. Now, so we got all this going on. This is how these platforms were created. This is how the demand and the interested drivers joined at the platform. This is how the investors come along and put the money behind the company so that the company can operate. Okay? Now, where do you play your part in? Okay, you get out here and you drive, right? And that $30 an hour that they promised you actually doesn't work. Okay? Then you get out here and you depend on this, right? So now you kind of stuck, because whatever else you had going on, you let it go by the wayside to join this platform. So now you have to keep going, right? So that 7 to 8 hours that you just planned to drive in the beginning when things were good has turned into 10 to 12 hours, because you have to get out here in order to make it work. And every day is not going to be the same amount of money. every week is not going to be the same amount of money. The drivers are not guaranteed anything. And also, the drivers don't have a voice. The drivers don't, on the Lyft platform, the drivers don't even have an 1-800 number, or put it this way, a customer service number that the drivers can call in case they're in a very bad situation, in case they need some type of informative information to help them while they're out there driving, right? There's a message board on the Lyft platform that you text a message to and just hope that an operator or moderator comes on and answer your question within 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? Just hope. And then when they do get on there, it's normally foreign people from foreign countries that didn't outsource the operator and moderator do this to for cheaper, you know. These people, you ask them questions and they don't know. They give you answers from the website or from a list of scripted answers. You can tell that they're scripted. So you never get an actual answer to your question. Then, the more questions you ask, the more they push you off the phone. And they say, well, if this is all, I'm gonna end this message, and we hope that we did things to help you, right? You still don't have the answers to the questions, okay? So their customer service is an F in my book. And I'm pretty sure everybody else will tell you the same thing. All right? Now, so as your part in this financially is, okay, as a driver, you get out here and you drive, you got a promise to make $28 an hour, $35 an hour, and these monies are not really evening out because, see, you have to factor in your maintenance of your vehicle, the gas of your vehicle, because the way they pay you is cents per mile. Okay? Every area, every state, every city Lyft pays a different cents per mile. Now, these are cents per mile that you normally see truck drivers get on the highway. And these people are driving in groups of miles, like 150, 200 to 300, or 1,000 miles. So in my area, with your own vehicle, you get 65 cents per mile. Inner city. Okay? Now, if you join the Lyft Express program, which is an additional program that they added, which they partnered with Hertz to provide drivers that qualify with vehicles that they have to put $500 down as a deposit that stays there while you're in the vehicle, and whatever that base rate is a week in your area. It could be $302, it could be $319. They're going to take their money first every week before you get any money. Okay? Now, maintenance is included in that, but Hertz services their vehicles anyway. Okay? Now, they're going to give you a list of places to take the vehicle to and get maintained and get the maintenance and things that need to be done to it. Now, for you drivers that's interested in that Lyft Express program, you're not going to get a new vehicle. You're going to get vehicles that Hertz barely can rent, okay? That have a bunch of nicks and bumps and scratches and everything on them, okay? But they'll still be somewhat presentable, okay? So you're not going to get a 22. You're barely going to get. You're not going to get a 21. You're probably going to get from a 19 to a 20. Okay, and maybe a 18 in some places, depending on the inventory that they have at these Hertz Lyft hubs. These are the buildings that you get your appointment to once you sign up through the Lyft Express program. Okay, so so your part in this as a driver, okay, and financially, your part in this as a driver doesn't weigh out, because you have the riders getting cheaper fares 75% of the time. That's where the problem comes in at. Because with those cheaper fares, the driver gets cheaper fares, get paid cheaper fares. Okay? Now you have several people that's supposed to receive money out of the money that you make. Okay? So you have Lyft, the platform. They're going to make a profit with whatever percent they have in their own companies. You have the investors that put the money behind the company, which has bought the stocks, the shareholders. Okay? That's the money that makes the company run. Okay? They have to pay them people per their investments, their dividends. Okay? However, whatever the schedule is. Then you have the drivers that they pay us crumbs. There's not a driver on this earth that drives on the Lyft platform that drives only and makes $1 million, or even make 350 million. Or even make 350,000. Yeah, you heard a few of them say, "Yeah, man, I make 100,000. I make 150,000." These people are out here driving 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You have no life. Your car is going to be completely burned up. You're going to spend so much money in gas till it's a shame. Okay? So, in my opinion, financially, you fucked. Okay? Now, you can get you some money to supplement your income. If you have a full-time income, yeah, you can do this part-time and it may help you. You can do this a few hours a day or every couple of days if you need to pay off some credit card bills, or if you need to pay child care, child support, or if you need some type of financial assistance. This will help you out, So, but doing this full time in the long run, this is not going. This for the long haul. This is not to benefit no one, but Lyft investors, and those riders that want those cheaper fares. And see, the riders, they don't care that the drivers are being neglected and mistreated. And what I mean by mistreated is this platform was created as rider friendly, right? So the riders can hurl vindictive allegations towards you. Like, if they ask you, can they stop at the store? You say, no, man, it's not included in the trip, right? They get out of the car, they get vindictive. They leave a message and say that you ran 2 red lights, or that they smell alcohol on your breath, and that you was discombobulated, that you was swerving in over the lines and stuff. Lyft is going to automatically, within 30 minutes of that complaint, Lyft is going to automatically put your account in block for 5 to 7 days, as they say they're going to do an investigation, right? Send you an email to explain what happened. They're going to tell you that somebody said that you were swerving. Okay, and they're gonna send you an email for you to explain your side. So you saying yourself, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't do nothing. I only told the person that I couldn't take them to the store. So after about 5 days, they're gonna reinstate your account. And they're gonna threaten you. They're gonna say, this happens again, you're gonna be permanently removed from the Lyft platform. They don't give you an apology. Your ratings, your reviews, none of that plays a part in anything. They chastise your character. And they allow the driver to stay on. They allow the rider that created that false accusation to continue to get Lyft rides. Right? Driver has no say-so. It's drivers in many states around the world and gig workers that's protesting for better pay and better working conditions. And they're being silenced. And they're being silenced because the stocks that was bought in these companies are more important than human beings being neglected. Now, remember, the driver makes this business run. The rider makes the business run because that's how they created this. Rider friendly, 75% of the time. But the driver actually does the heavy lifting. We the oil that makes the engine run. Okay? Without the drivers, they don't have nothing. But a lot of drivers can't stop. Everybody driving for a reason. No one is doing this for fun. Everybody that's doing this for some purpose financially. What I wanted to do with this video today, people, you new drivers and you future drivers, was to explain to you all who Lyft is and what's their purpose. And how do you benefit financially? And what's your position? And in my opinion, you're just a pawn on the chessboard, like I am. And whenever they fold, the drivers are going to be at a loss. See what I'm saying? Ain't no drivers really making no major money. That's quite a few of them that got YouTube channels where they're throwing jabs at one another and they're selling products and they're helping Lyft promote their agenda because Lyft is actually rewarding them in certain ways, maybe giving them more bonuses throughout the week on their driver's app or whatever. But Lyft knows that those people are sending a high demand of referrals through their link. That link is something else I need to speak on. So that link, when you sign up, they give you a link. And they say, hey, if you know someone that wants to drive, give them your link and tell them sign up. Hey, you can get an $800 bonus, referral bonus. Now, you only get that referral bonus if the person does 160 rides or 180 rides. Whatever promotion is attached to that referral in your area, okay? When that driver completes those rides, then you get your portion of the bonus, and they get their portion of the bonus on their end, whatever it may be. It could be it could be a guaranteed $2,900, it could be a guaranteed $3,000. So this means a guaranteed bonus means that if you get out there and in 160 rides you make $1,500, the day you do the 160 rides, they're gonna put the remaining balance of that guaranteed $3,000 in 160 rides. They're going to put $1,500 in your account automatically. Now, this is to entice you in and make you say, oh, boy, this was great. They give you that money so they can start raping you, so they can start taking all your money. You get it? Lyft takes more or half or more than Lyft takes half or more of each fare that you make on a daily basis. They takes the bigger portion, half or the bigger portion. This is the truth now. So I just wanted to come and give y'all this video today to get you to understand who Lyft is and what's their purpose and what part you play and how it benefits you financially. I'm completely I'm not for it. Yes, I'm on the platform because I have what little bit that I do get, it benefits me for the moment until I get something going. And besides, I'm gonna continue to be on the platform so that I can educate you new and future drivers so that you can be fully prepared as you enter the Lyft platform for whatever financial purpose that you may need to drive for Lyft. I want to be the one to educate you. If you give me the opportunity, look at my videos and understand what I'm talking about, then you're going to be ready to go. You know what I'm saying? For however long you decide to drive. Over here at Rideshare RealTalk, we're going to give you real talk over here. We're not going to sugarcoat nothing. Look, I would like to ask you people to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get my videos, because I'm about to put out an influx of videos in the weeks to come, and I want to make sure that you all get my videos as I release them. So please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. This is a beautiful Saturday. Saturdays are kind of slow, you know, but this is a beautiful Saturday. And look, baby, to you drivers that's out here driving today, let's get this bread, baby.